my colleagues on the NSWG, please permit me to recognize the presence of a colleague, very senior colleague of mine, Engineer Ankom, Badai Ankom. He's the Director General of the Mining Cadastral Office. He's in our midst, and also a resource person that will be speaking with us today. I've also seen the immediate past regional manager for Anglophone, English-speaking and Lusophone, Portuguese-speaking African countries. Dr. Michael Zigwe, who is also one of our research persons. But I would want to especially recognize our host. I'm not the host. The host is the member representing the Southwest on the NSWG. And he's seated here, Chief Otumba Olachukwu Taiwo. He has done an amazing job. Please, I need another round of applause for him. Immediately he learned that we'll be hosting this retreat in Lagos. He took it upon himself to do all the runaround. And you know, movement in Lagos is very, very easy. So he navigated through it so much. Thank you very much, sir, for your contribution. Your Excellency's representative, we thank you, sir, for the effort and all the coordination you also helped us with. Thank you, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues from NAITI, eminent resource persons, let me also recognize online from our headquarters in Oslo, Norway, our friend and brother, the African Regional Director of the EITI for English-speaking and Portuguese-speaking member countries. Our brother, Gilbert Makore from the EITI headquarters, who is joined and representing the global headquarters that will be speaking with us in course of this opening session. Please, on behalf of the chairman members of the NSWG, we send to you our congratulations and our appreciation for keeping faith with us, keeping patient with us this morning. You'll be hooked on. We'll soon get over to you, sir. Thank you very, very much. And I also need to specially recognize our development partners. Without them, it could have been very difficult for us to host this retreat at this very time, given the high level of cost of everything. Our development partners, the rule of law and anti-corruption, the rule of law and anti-corruption project of the European Union being implemented in Nigeria. And we have online our brother who is also the team leader, coordinator of this particular project. The two of them are here, Mr. Dala and my brother Emmanuel Uche. All of them put together, including those who are on ground with us here. They supported us and largely funded this meeting. So we're very grateful to you for this opportunity. It's therefore my pleasure to welcome you to this very important retreat of the National Stakeholders Working Group, which also serves as the NAITI board. This is the first meeting since after inauguration in May, and the meeting has been structured as an induction program that will expose us to the mandates and operations of NAITI and why we are unique, why we are peculiar, why we are different from other agencies of government, our job, our time, and the kind of impact we're expected to make. The retreat is expected to chart a new course for this board by aligning our mission of fostering transparency and accountability in Nigeria's extractive sector. We need to meet the yearnings of our citizens and the desired impact our citizens want to see from the abundant resources the country is blessed with, and the reasons for our very strong international affiliation. I recall that in 2003, Nigeria took a bold step by voluntarily submitting itself and signing up to the Global Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative. This decision was centered on the belief that transparency in the extractive sector will pave the way for sustainable development and poverty reduction in resource-rich nations, including Nigeria. Nigeria further demonstrated its commitment through the enactment of the 90 Act 2007, became the first country to back up implementation with a law. Apart from institutionalizing this process in Nigeria, the 90 Act empowered stakeholders, government, companies, and civil society with the shared responsibility of ensuring transparency and accountability in the management of the nation's investments in the extractive industry operations in Nigeria with a specific law. We shall, in the next few days, be sufficiently exposed to the issues at both local and international level. Mr. Chairman, fellow members of the board, the global transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources poses significant risks to countries that depend heavily on hydrocarbon. The hydrocarbon-based revenues for survival. And as you know, our country, Nigeria, is heavily dependent on oil revenues for survival. It is within the ambit of this board to seek ways of supporting our government and citizens with timely policy decisions and strategies to deal with this unavoidable unfolding developments in the extractive industry. The fear of the known risks of most of the countries that will be affected, including Nigeria, outweighs the far unknown potentials of the opportunities that may accrue, except and until we look inwards and begin to see how we can use the ambits and framework put together by the Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative to deal with these issues with evidence-led data engagement that could help us shape ideas and policies to help our government and citizens. At the current dependency level, Nigeria already faces significant threats to its economy from the prospect of permanent decline in global demand for crude oil. The demand is going down every day. Given the fiscal problems Nigeria has experienced from short-term disruptions in crude oil and gas output, the much longer-term and permanent decline in demand will have far-reaching impact, negative impact on our country's economy. While the transition from carbon-based fuel will have significant long-term impact on Nigeria's revenue exports, the transition will also have other impacts on the economy, including jobs, livelihoods, and the difficulty we will have to survive, except and until we use a forum like this to channel our thinking to economic diversification. A direct consequence of this transition will be the loss of fossil fuel as a source of energy. In 2021, crude oil and gas accounted for 46% of Nigeria's energy use and 78% of electricity generation. In Nigeria, the transition will therefore require significant financial investment for the country to generate renewable energy to replace energy previously generated by carbon fuels. This financing and the technology required will constitute a huge burden in addition to the equally significant amount of money that will be required by the country to close the huge, very wide energy security gap. This retreat is an opportunity to reflect on the role of NAITI in managing these challenges and shaping a new direction for our country in the oil, gas, and mining sector. This will require robust discussions that will bring about ideas to deal with the current challenges that energy transition poses for oil-dependent countries, the opportunities and the risks identified and how to deal with them, the current difficult challenge we face with oil theft, illegal mining, stealing of Nigeria's precious minerals, pipeline vandalization, damage to the environment and the ecosystem, and other unavoidable governance challenges that have contributed enormously to the loss of revenues and investment opportunities in the Nigeria's energy sector. Figures contained in our 2020 audits have put Nigeria's loss to crude oil theft over the last 12 years at 619.7 million barrels that we have lost to stealing. We have not computed 2022, we have not computed 2023. And our ongoing reports are certainly going to track those. 619.7 million barrels valued at $46.16 billion were lost, or 16.25 trillion naira were lost to crude theft alone. Liters of this petroleum were also similarly between 2009 and 2018. The country also lost 4.6 billion liters of petroleum products from refineries valued at $1.84 billion. These losses and their attendant negative effects on the economy led the president to constitute a special panel on oil theft, the former president, President Muhammad Buhari, to constitute a special investigation panel on oil theft and losses to study the situation against current realities and make recommendations on how to fight the menace. 90 was chosen as a member of that panel. We submitted our report in March, just before the exit of the last administration. We therefore renew our appeal that as current government struggles on how to find a lasting solution for this problem, there is every need, we think there is every need to look at that report, because everything that needs to be done and who is to do them were carefully outlined in that report, which I represented 90 in that panel. We toured every part of Niger Delta, including visiting the key kingpins in their homes, toured all the oil installations, and did that report. We think that it's important that government looks at that report, review it, update it, and possibly issue a current implementation white paper. We have also arranged, so for this kind of retreat, we think these are issues we could reflect on. Because the government has a cause to serve, we need to justify this confidence by visible impact, helping the government to find solutions. In this sector, Nigerian government certainly needs help, both from local and international. We have also arranged eminent experts as resource persons who will dissect these issues, guide us with knowledge and experience on the comprehensive program that we can put together. As we deliberate over the next few days, I encourage us all to bring forward our best ideas and most innovative solutions we may have gathered in our various diverse areas of influence and services to our country and beyond over the years. The challenges we face are therefore significant and urgent, but it's also not unsurmountable if we put our collective determination together to overcome them. Together, we can ensure that the extractive industry in Nigeria, which is a source of blessing to other jurisdictions, should cease to be a burden and a curse to our country and her citizens. On behalf of 90 Secretariat, I welcome you to this retreat, and I once more thank you for finding your way to Lagos, and thank God for journey mercies. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Audrey Ogbonnaya, Audrey, Executive Secretary of NATE. Please, let's give him another round of applause for his thought-provoking welcome address on this occasion. Just a minute, sir. Just mind the cables. Yeah, so that, sorry, you are rising a bit too early. That's Ambassador Adoli. Ambassador Adoli, of course, is speaking to us shortly in lieu of the chairman of the board of NATI. But just before I welcome him to the microphone, let me once more recognize some of the dignitaries. I know a couple of the names were mentioned by the ES before he gave his thought-provoking welcome address. First of all, Engineer Obadiah Simon Ukom, Director General, of MCO, to have you in our midst. We are pleased that you are here. I hope it's still online that Dr. Emmanuel Uche is the Program Manager, Anti-Corruption Roller 2 International IDEA. He was online a moment ago. If he's still there, I'm sure we can, if it's Rolak, is he still there? We'll tell him that we are recognizing his presence online and being thankful that he's part of the formal opening ceremony. Now, for the membership of the board of NATI, I recognized Barrister Musa Abdullahi Lawa from the Northwest Zone. Is actually a former Attorney General of Kano State. So that's a double round of applause for him. We're very pleased that you are here in Lagos and not sorting out whether there's a federal or a state, you know what, you understand what I mean? In Kano, there's one federal and another state. He knows what I'm talking about. Attorney General, AG, you know what I'm talking about. You don't know. So we'll discuss that in camera, and I'm sure other board members will tease out the information from you in the course of the retreat. Now, we also have some directors of NATI who are here with us. Mrs. Jane Omere, she's the coordinating director, executive secretary's office of NATI. She's to bring behind what we are seeing here and more that we will see in the course of this. Mrs. Obiageli Onwara, Director of Communication and Stakeholders Management. It's right there. Nobody is seeing you. You are doing like, no, okay, you're not twisted, it's flat. The front was like this. We also have other members of the board secretariat and staff of NATI who, as I said, recognize them as the day wears on. Your Excellency, here represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Energy, Lagos, board members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let's now get the opening remarks, setting the tone for the retreat from the chair of the board, distinguished Senator George Akuman, who on this occasion is being represented by the board member representing the North Central Zone, Ambassador Matthew Sunday Adole.
Your Excellency, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Executive Governor of Lagos State, ably represented by the Commissioner for Energy Matters, fellow members of the board, eminent ladies, distinguished gentlemen, the SGF, Dr. George Akuman, like earlier stated by the ES, is unavoidably absent due to pressing state matters. But as the alternate chair, I am privileged to address you this morning to set the tune for this retreat. In the first place, I want to thank the EU RULAC
for being very supportive, financially and otherwise, for the organization and putting in place of the retreat. We followed closely by a board meeting. NAITI, as you know, is a very serious organization, anti-corruption organization, an international affiliated organization meant to make inputs, serious inputs in checkmating a lot of economic leakages and sabotage from the extractive industries towards government, to ensure that obligations of these industries towards government are met, for government to be able to have resources to plow to the socio-economic well-being of the citizens of this country. In this regard, I want to thank the ES for assembling competent resource persons who are going to talk to us seriously about what it entails to be in the extractive industry. We will listen patiently and very carefully, derive what we want to derive, and this will help us in fashioning out policies in the board that needs to take the company to promote NAITI and enable NAITI to do its work properly. We know that any lapses in NAITI and its activities, which are being monitored by the international parent body, will be reported straight to the president. And of course, President Commander-in-Chief would not like us here for Nigeria's name soiled internationally. It's because of our good performance, which has been enhanced by the competent and able ES who are known since the 90s as we work together at State House, Presidential Villa, that NAITI is always giving a clean bill of health in terms of performance and output. I commend you. And I want to assure you that the board is in place to ensure that this commendation is taken to a higher level. The SGF, Dr. George Akume, GSM, we call it, Governor, Senator, Minister, and SGF, CON, KSG, and FNIM would tomorrow, by the grace of God, be here to present the keynote address. I welcome all of you to this August gathering, peopled by men of high distinction who have achieved here and there, that we will do the needful to ensure that the name NAITI, Nigeria, and our performance as a board will go to the greatest heights, the greater glory of Nigeria. Thank the Governor of Lagos State, who is the chief and chief host of this occasion, for registering his presence here. I know that Dr. Sanyaolu is dynamic, purposeful, straightforward, and achievement-oriented. And I'm sure that he will contribute his quota, the development of NAITI, the progress of the board, and of course, the well-being of country, Lagos State as a whole. On this note, you are most welcome. I commend you and I thank you for your presence.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Abdoli, representative of the North Central Zone on the NAITI board, speaking there on behalf of the chairman of the NAITI board, distinguished Senator John. Next on the agenda, we'll be taking a goodwill message from the EITI International Secretariat. And earlier, the executive secretary had recognized him. I hope he's online. If we can get him online, we will invite him straight away. He's joining us from Oslo in Norway. That's where the EITI International Secretariat is located. Mr. Gilbert Macaulay is Regional Director, Anglophone and Lusophone Africa. Mr. Gilbert Macaulay, right there, you can see him on the split screen, to the right of the split screen. Mr. Gilbert Macaulay from Oslo, Norway. Can we pick up your audio just to be sure that we can hear your goodwill message?
Yes, good afternoon. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. His Excellency Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Dr. George Akume, in absentia. Excellency Governor Lagos State, represented by the Commissioner of Energy, Ambassador Matthew Adole, representing the Chair of the Board, the NATI Executive Secretary and CEO, Dr. OG, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor and privilege to deliver these remarks to the full NATI National Stakeholders Working Group on behalf of the EITI International Secretariat. I bring greetings from the senior leadership of the EITI who would have wished to be part of this engagement, but unable to due to the summer break here in the Northern Hemisphere. On behalf of the EITI International Secretariat, allow me to first convey our sincere congratulations to the board on the appointment and assumption of office, and to state that we do wish you well as you begin executing on your mandate. Let me preface my very short remarks by noting that Nigeria is very important to the EITI global family, which currently has 56 EITI implementing countries across the world. The size of the extractive sector in Nigeria, the size of the country itself, but more importantly, the potential for sector growth, and the fact that Nigeria was an EITI implementing country right from the outset of the EITI makes it important to the impact, the growth, and the development of the EITI itself. It is not too far-fetched to say that as Nigeria goes, so goes other EITI implementing countries, particularly those on the continent. The EITI has evolved over the years from an initiative that primarily just focused on reconciling payments from companies and the revenue receipts received by governments to a global standard that now includes aspects such as contract transparency, beneficial ownership transparency, state-owned enterprise data, production and export data, transparency, and social and environmental impacts. Issues that I'm sure the NSWG board will deliberate on in the next few days. This evolution of the EITI came from implementing countries themselves, noting that it is not enough to know what was paid in a particular fiscal year, but that it is equally important to know what should have been paid. And to know what should have been paid, you need to have all these other data points that I just referenced. These questions are so imperative, particularly in the extractive sector, because for mining oil and gas, the resources are finite, and therefore the window of opportunity within which to benefit from extractive resources does not remain open in perpetuity. I make these points on the evolution of the standard to note that the challenge for NATI and the board is to ensure that these disclosures actually lead to right reforms, lead to recovery of revenues, inform government policy and practice, and contribute to the national agenda, be it on anti-corruption and or on domestic resource mobilization. EITI implementation in Nigeria is peculiar also because it is a creature of statute. Effective EITI implementation is therefore not just a matter of policy, but a legal imperative. And I would state that the board is coming into being at a critical time for NATI, and EITI implementation in Nigeria, given the validation outcome, the adoption of the 2023 standard with new requirements on anti-corruption, the energy transition, revenue collection, gender and social and environmental aspects. And it will be important to ensure that there is significant progress towards implementing this new standard. The EITI International Secretariat and the EITI Board wish the NAITI NSWG Board well, and we look forward to supporting NAITI to continue its transformation into being an extractives digital information hub, acting as a think tank to the federal government and informing critical government decisions on the direction the sector takes in the coming years. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Gilbert Macaulay, Regional Director of Africa, Anglophone and Lusophone countries. They appreciate the very kind and motivating words that you have spoken to members of the NAITI Board and others who are present at the retreat with a goodwill message from the headquarters of VITI in Oslo, Norway. Mr. Gilbert Macaulay, we appreciate your being with us this morning. We hope that you continue to be with us online so you can listen into the other items, at least at this opening session. We'll be having a keynote presentation by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, who is here represented. Now, we'll also take a couple of other goodwill messages. I'm wondering, is Mr. Jethia, is he around now? The Executive Director, Oil Producers Trade Section. So we go quickly to the representative of civil society. And civil society is a critical adjunct to the NAITI processes as well as matters arising from their reports, particularly with respect to getting the numbers right, getting the issues right, and then also getting the implementation properly sorted out. Dr. Erisa Danlabi, representative of civil society, please come forward to lead us through it.
Your Excellency, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to leverage on the already established protocol by the Master of Ceremony and the Executive Secretary earlier. I am honored to address you today as a representative of the civil society organizations on the NAITI board. On behalf of the entire civil society community, I extend our heartfelt facilitation and best wishes to the 6th board members. For us, this marks a significant milestone, and we are excited about this fresh perspective and innovative approaches you will bring to our collective mission at a time when the demand for transparency, accountability, and sustainable development in Nigeria extractive industries is more pressing than ever before. Of course, the work of NAITI is crucial, not only to ensuring that the benefits of our natural resources are equitably shared, but also in fostering trust and accountability within our society. As civil society, we commend and commit to being part of this journey to ensure that the EITI process and standard is meticulously mainstreamed in our extractive journey as a subscribing nation. We believe that the meaningful engagement and active collaboration among stakeholders are essential for achieving our shared objectives and our goals. Our role is to advocate for the public interest, to ensure that the voices of the most vulnerable are heard, and to promote policies that lead to sustainable and inclusive development in the sector. we are encouraged by the strides of NATI that has made and is promoting transparency and physical justice in the extractive sectors. For us, the comprehensive report and audit provides insightful, invaluable insight into our operations and our financial flows within the sectors, of course, highlighting areas for improvement and ensuring that the public is informed. However, much work remains to be done, and we are confident that under this NSWG, we will continue to make significant progress in advancing NATI's mandate. We look forward to enhancing and implementing policies that promote transparency and accountability. For us, this is to ensure that we have compliance with legal and regulatory frameworks, improving the accessibility of data and fostering an environment where civil society can actively participate in governance processes. We look forward to this sixth board, and for us, the inclusion of diverse voices in the NATI board is a step towards more inclusive government, which we must commend this. But we look forward to a balanced gender, not just the two of us next time. So we also, as civil society, we stand ready to encourage and to engage in a constructive dialogue and partnership. Together, we can strengthen the integrity of Nigerian extractive industries and ensure that the benefits reach all the citizens. We, the civil society organization, pledge our continued engagement and support to ensure that the principles of transparency, accountability are upheld. Of course, this induction is not just a formality for us, it is a call to action. It is a reminder of our immense impact that effective governance and inclusive policies can have our own sector, and we can also be part of the process. So we have some expectations. One, we have a great expectation and confidence in positive impact of the sixth NSWG that would bring to the table. We expect one, enhancing transparency. Of course, NATI has been doing a lot about data accessibility. We expect the new board to enhance efforts in making data related to the extractive industry easily accessible and understandable to the public. Open data policies should be strengthened to ensure that all stakeholders, including local and host communities, can access and use this information effectively, including contract, revenue streams, production volumes. We're happy about the metering of that we just had the news. We hope it works for us to be able to understand what is happening around the sector. And of course, we want to see environmental impact assessments being effected more than ever before. Transparency is crucial for holding both companies and government accountable at every point in time. So we want to see beneficial ownership. It is crucial to advance the transparency of beneficial ownership information. Yes, we are doing more. We have a register, but we want to see how we can also engage the official benefits, the beneficial ownership register to be able to elicit information. This is helping to combat corruption and illicit financial flows in the sector, identifying and disclosing the real owners of extractive companies to prevent corruption. And of course, we could match up names with faces. Of course, we want to see energy transmission. The AS just talked about how globally it is a menace. Shift from traditional energy source, such as fossil energies and the likes of it. For us, it's also a concern, but we need to advance the transition so that we could mitigate climate change and create a more sustainable and resilient energy system. This NSWG can promote women and youth-led innovations around energy transition and hence contribute towards repositioning renewable energies. That's what we're looking forward for you to help us do in this sixth board. Second, we want to see strengthened accountability. We want to see compliance and enforcement. We anticipate strict and rigorous enforcement of existing laws and regulations, ensuring that all entities comply with the Nigerian Mining Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act of 2007, the Petroleum Industrial Act, and other related frameworks is essential for maintaining it. We want to see improvement on that. We want to see some review around that. We want to see the NSWG strengthen measures and improve mechanisms to dictate, prevent, and penalize corrupt practices within the extractive sectors, within the extractive industries. This is key to us because as a country, fighting corruption is what we look forward to. And one of the being and essence of NATI is to do that. We hope that this board will be able to help and strengthen this aspect of what we do. We want to see regular and comprehensive audit and reports which are vital. And I must commend NATI for keeping up to the reporting, getting us to be part of those validations, and also being part of the process. Of course, this is, sorry, sir, I'm rounding up. For us, this should be not just be a regular thing, but it's going to also highlight and see gaps where we can see improvement. Of course, we want to see how community development, because we are the voice of the people, and we stand to see how we can have a focus on ensuring that host community benefit directly. And of course, the community development agreements are utilized properly. We want to also see where we can have and prioritize environmental sustainability and social responsibility. We want to ensure that extractive activities must be adhered to at every point in time to ensure we follow and then get the standard. Of course, we want to see fair revenue sharing. We want to see investment in public goods, utilizing our revenues for extractive so that to be able to ensure we have infrastructure and people are benefiting from that. Inclusiveness and participation, it is not overemphasized. We want to see where we engage the local communities. Civil society should be more involved than ever before. And of course, building our capacities to ensure we understand what the AITI processes are and ensure that we are part of implementation. And of course, lastly, we want to see human rights and social justice, where our human rights are protected. We want to see gender equity. We want to see promoting gender inclusiveness, like I said. In conclusion, the civil society is committed to working alongside with you to ensure that the principles of transparency, accountability, and sustainability are upheld in the Nigerian extractive industries. Together, we believe we will be part of this drive to ensure that we have change and create a future where the wealth of our country, where the wealth of the natural resources we have contribute to prosperity and well-being of all Nigeria. Let us work hand in hand to drive this process. We look forward to the National Working Group, and we hope and wish us all the best. Thank you very much for your time.
Another round of applause for Dr. Erisa Damladi. I don't know whether we should just, on that note, declare the formal ceremony closed. So that sounds like the closing remarks for the opening ceremony. You know, one of the challenges that we face on this occasion, sometimes, yes, it's a retreat, but we have in our midst the representative of the Lagos State governor and the executive time. I don't know whether Lagos is having its ESCO meeting today. But otherwise, there are many issues for the governor and, of course, his commissioners to also handle. When you invite people for goodwill messages, sometimes get so prolonged, and you have difficulty putting them to a halt. I recall an event once at the International Conference Center, and the goodwill message was being delivered by, amongst others, the Inspector General of Police. So he went on and on and on, and I sent him the first note, sent him the second note, he was still going. So I got a substitute microphone, quietly interjected, and I said that I hope this doesn't lead to my arrest. after this event, but of course, he got the message and then rounded off. So please, let's delimit our usage of time with respect to goodwill messages, and we are getting the last one this time before we bring in the Executive Governor of Lagos here represented. And this goodwill message, of course, is coming from Dr. Emmanuel Uche, EU RULAC IDEA, who are partners in the sponsorship of this retreat. It's online. If we can watch it online so that we test his audio.
Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Can you see my thumbs up? Dr.
Yes.
Uche, all right, is the Anti-Corruption Program Manager.
I can hear you.
Right.
Yeah.
Your good message.
Good morning, everyone. Please permit me to stand on the protocols already established and give this little goodwill message from the International IDEA, that's the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance worldwide. It's an intergovernmental organization comprised of 36 different countries that work to strengthen the foundations of democratic governance worldwide. We are currently the implementers of the European Union Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Project in Nigeria, which is a program that came as a follow-on to RULAC 1 and also as a follow-on to the Justice for All project, which means we have actually been around for the past decade, strengthening transparency, accountability, access to justice and criminal justice reform in Nigeria for over a decade now. I am particularly happy on this occasion that we are still in partnership with NEITI, doing the good job that they are doing. And I want to particularly say a very big congratulations to NEITI and to Dr. Orji on this occasion of the 6th National Working Group meeting and retreat for its board. We knew when all the boards were dissolved and NEITI did not have a board, it was a very big concern. And today, NEITI not only have a new board, but more importantly, we now have a round peg in a round hole. Having the person of His Excellency, Senator George Akume, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, as the chairman of the NEITI board is a great blessing for not just NEITI, but for Nigeria. And I think this is a great opportunity we need to make use of, saying that this is someone who understands the sector and someone who has been a senator himself, who understands the nitty-gritties and the dynamics of the challenges that NEITI need to surmount in order to bring the value that is expected to the Nigerian people. Therefore, to this board, the expectations of Nigerians are over the roof. Dr. Orji, NEITI has done exceedingly well in blazing the trail on most of the things we are doing. We've been celebrated in Africa, but we want to tell you the mileage that we need to cover is still a whole lot more. Of the reports that were recently released, the solid mineral reports, the gas reports, and all the reports that were released, none is as important as the physical and statutory disbursement report, which says it's good that we pursue the money, it's good that we understand how royalties are paid, what needs to be paid, the rights of the communities, but more importantly, we all need to be on top of our game as to how the oil resources and the oil wealth of this nation is working for the good of the people of Nigeria. This is an onerous responsibility that has been added as part of the responsibility of NEITI. And as I listened to Dr. Erisa Danladi reel out the things they would like to see as civil society, I was short of saying, Doctor, But now civil society is an integral part of NAITI. Civil society is an integral part of NAITI. And therefore, everything you have reeled out you want to see, please table them at this retreat. Let us begin to engage. How do we make it happen? How do we make it happen for Nigerians? These are the things we want to see. Make the Nigerian oil work for its people. Finally, before I shut up, I would like to refer us to an assessment that was done not too long ago by Foster, the Facility for Oil and Extractive Industry work, okay, where we did the sovereign oil wealth of Nigeria, the analysis of Nigeria's sovereign oil wealth. And it became clear that if you take the total oil wealth of Nigeria, both the ones underground and the ones that have been extracted, and you divide it by the Nigerians who depend on this, you will discover that we are not only a poor nation, we are also a poor nation going into the future if we rely on oil. Therefore, as NAITI begins to interrogate the issues of energy transition, of contract transparency, and of sustainable extractive sector, green energy, I will sincerely want to urge this NAITI board to begin to move Nigeria along those lines. The little resources that is left and that is running out on time for Nigeria needs to be channeled properly so that we can have sustainability into the future. The sovereign oil wealth is nothing to write home about. Is abysmally poor for a country of 200 million Nigerians. Even if we extracted everything that Nigeria has and sold everything, what we will get per capita will still keep us as a poor nation. And therefore, we need to look beyond oil. We need to ensure that the little that we can harvest can make all the difference that we can make. And this, I know Dr. Oji and his team are committed to. We at International IDEA, we are committed to working with this process, because there can be no sustainable democracy without good dividend for the people. And this we are committed to. Democracy cannot stand, and if organizations like NAITI don't yield good results for Africans, then it's not likely we will be able to halt the democratic reversals that we have seen in some part of Africa. The only panacea is to make sure that NAITI works and helps Nigerians get value for their extractive resources. On this note, you have our partnership, you have our continued commitment to this process, and we will do everything it takes to help NAITI to succeed. Congratulations to every member of this new board and to our civil society partners who are coming on board. Please, let us also work to harmonize, publish what you pay, and make it deliver value for the people of Nigeria. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Emmanuel Uche. Please another round of applause for Dr. Emmanuel Uche as the Anti-Corruption Program Manager at EU IDEA ROLAC. Very heartwarming comments that you have given there, as well as, of course, an indication of what the sixth NAITI board should focus on. Thanks also for the commendation to the NAITI management and what it should be doing. Dr. Emmanuel Uche, Program Manager on Anti-Corruption at EU IDEA ROLAC, giving us the last of the goodwill messages on this occasion. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to take the keynote address, and it will be delivered by our chief host, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Babajide Sanwo-Olu has been the governor of Lagos State since 2019, now into his second term, and is here ably represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Energy. The Honorable Commissioner for Energy, of course, has been with us since this program started, Mr. Biodu Obuleye. Your Excellency, here represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Energy, Mr. Biodun Ogunleye, please deliver your keynote address.
You may have a seat, ladies and gentlemen. It's still morning, it's about to be afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Biodun Ogunleye, and I'm representing the Dr. Oji described my governor as the best governor in Nigeria. I'm not going to, I don't take such compliment very, very lightly. So let me allow this, let me make it louder. We know he's Mr. Performer. We know he has several names, but he said we are young men. Bless God for the opportunity to be young and performing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to stand before you to represent my governor. A great honor to welcome to the city Dr. Oji and the entire the Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of NETI and the entire management team. I also have the honor of welcoming the distinguished Senator George Akume, Secretary to the Federal Government of Nigeria, to the city of Lagos, and his representative. I welcome you, sir. I also have the honor of welcoming Dr. Zach Adedeji, the Executive Chairman of Federal Inland Revenue. Same goes for the representative of the NNPCL, Mr. Mele Keale. You are most welcome to our great city. The member representing the All Producers Trade Section of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Ogbenekwe Ajaife. You are most welcome. I welcome also the representative of the Extractive Companies Mining, Mr. Dele Anyoleke. I also have a great pleasure welcoming Dr. Saki Danladi, member of the civil society, and Engineer Isigwe, member representing women geoscientists, and former president of the Association of Professional Women Engineers, Comrade Williams. Such a great pleasure having you in our city. Is the current president of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Barrister Musa Lawan, representing the Northwest Zone. You are most welcome. I also have the honor of welcoming Ambassador Matthew Adoli, a member of the Federal Republic, representing the North Central, and the alternate chair of the board. You are most welcome. Thank you very much. I welcome, he said Otumba, I don't know if Prince should be added, Oloye, you know, I don't know which is your city actually, but you're most welcome. My brother, Mr. Olashupo Taiwo. We welcome the member representing the Southeast Zone, Chief Israel Ikwegu. Last but not the least, permit me to also welcome Dr. Akpan, member representing the South Zone. I know we have a lot of resource persons here, so I also say a warm welcome. And I know we also have a couple of our international partners online. You are most welcome to the city of aquatic pleasure and splendor. Permit me to lastly say, in case I've not mentioned your name, forgive me. every eminent person that is there. This is not just a board. This is a board that is at the center of Nigeria. You are most welcome. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please, you are welcome. I'm delighted to welcome you to the beautiful and vibrant city of Lagos, the state of aquatic splendor and the economic capital of Nigeria, and home to major oil, gas, and mining companies' headquarters. I particularly welcome the chairman of the MEITI board and secretary to the government of the Federation, His Excellency Senator George Akume, CON, and heads of the said federal agencies who are here with us and who are also heading very important board and other government companies, industry giants, and representatives of civil societies that are here with us. The choice of Lagos for this retreat is great and most suitable, given the massive reform in various sectors which our administration here in Lagos has embarked upon. I have been informed that this retreat is aimed at exposing participants to the process, principles, methods, objectives, and benefits of the Global Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, which the Nigerian government is implementing through MEITI. I'm equally aware that MEITI is mandated by law to ensure transparency and accountability in the management of revenue from oil, gas, and mining sectors, with a view to reversing the syndrome of resource mismanagement and ensure that all Nigerians benefit from the wealth of their natural resources. Let me state that I have followed MEITI's activity with keen interest and admiration, and I've noted the effort of this agency in drawing national and international attention to corruption, fraud-related issues, process lapses, transparency, and accountability questions that have bedeviled the oil and gas sector, which is the mainstay of our economy. From my knowledge of this operation, of its operation in this part of the country, MEITI is one of the few federal government agencies that have stood out with credible information and data, public disclosure with courage and competence in leading the war against opaqueness and corruption, especially in the oil, gas, and mineral sectors. Accordingly, let me state that Lagos State government identifies strongly with the lofty mandates, objectives, and principles of MEITI, and we provide all necessary support for MEITI at this subnational level to bring Lagos and its citizens to desired advocacy on MEITI's implementation in Nigeria. I thought you deserve a warm clap. Thank you very much. I therefore wish to commend MEITI's team for the job it has done so far. But I urge you to do more in areas of subnational engagement with government at state and local government level, where host communities bear the responsibility of extractive activities. This will provide us an opportunity to build strong partnership with MEITI in efforts to exploit the abundant minerals in our state and its environs. For Nigeria to fully harness its abundant natural resources endowment, there is an urgent need to re-examine the existing laws that vest control over oil and other mineral resources in the federal government, as well as the exploration of mineral resources in the country. The need for review of these laws has become very urgent if the federal government's policy on ease of doing business is to succeed, especially at the subnational level. The review is also important to promote investment in the extractive industry and diversify our nation's economy. To this end, the federal government and its agencies need to engage more with the private sector and sub-national governments in the development of our natural resources. The areas of engagement should include solid mineral development, host communities program, environmental sustainability, energy efficiency, domestic resource mobilization, poverty reduction initiatives, which are at the center of realizing the impact of the global extractive industry transparency initiatives in resource-rich countries like ours. I assure you that the Lagos State government is open to partnering with NATI in this direction. Finally, Mr. Chairman, His Excellency, the SGF, esteemed members of the board, while wishing you a most fruitful celebration, it is a great honor for me to formally declare this retreat open. I invite you to take advantage of this visit and delve into our unique hospitality. And I hope that our rich culture will leave a lasting impression on everyone. I thank you for your attention. May Nigeria be blessed beyond measures. Thank you very much.
That was the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, here represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Energy, Lagos, Mr. Theodore Ogunleye, delivering the keynote address and formally declaring the retreat open. Please let's give him yet again another round of applause. Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner, for the comments you made in the course of the keynote. I'd like to crave your indulgence. Your protocol matters a great deal in government business. And usually, when the chief executive, namely the governor of the state or the president of the Federal Republic speaks and declares an event like this open, we come to the close of the formal ceremonies. And no one else speaks. We had an oversight. So what should have come before this Excellency's keynote? I'd like to crave the indulgence of the Honorable Commissioner to enable us to take it and to permit and pardon the protocol. Shall I say lapse? No, that's the protocol. Excuse the protocol rearrangement. I sincerely apologize for this. So we're going to have now to take the vote of thanks on behalf of the members of the board of NATI who are here seated, and I'd like to invite the member of the board who is representing the Southwest Zone, the trade accountant and auditor, Mr. Taiwo Olapo, who will give a very brief vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my great joy to deliver these closing remarks. And really want to thank, first of all, I want to thank the organizer of this program, as well as the board chairman, Senator George Akume, who happens to be the secretary of the federal government, and my we call him Mr. Selibu, my ever-performing governor, Babajide, Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, represented by the Commissioner for Energy. I want to thank you for coming. And as well, I want to give a special recognition thanks to the ES and his team, Dr. Oji Ogbonai Oji. You've been doing a very fantastic job, and I really want to appreciate you. I also want to thank all the board members. I know too well with this set of people here, the 6 NSGs of you, failure is never going to be an option. This board and the 90 team will succeed in everything that we intended to do. On that note, I want to thank you all for coming to the State of Excellence, Lagos State, and I really want you to tap into anything that you feel you need to know. Thank you very much. My pleasure.